Hello, my friends. I'm coming to you today from Mississippi. It's my first time in Mississippi ever, and I'm loving it, except it's a little bit cold and rainy outside, and so I couldn't do my video outdoors as I have been for the last few weeks. But I really wanted to come to you this weekend because of Valentine's Day. Inspired by Valentine's Day, I really wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to dive into the topic of love, but love for yourself. And, I'm not much of a Valentine's Day person, but I thought, let's definitely use this opportunity to focus on this idea of creating special space about love, around love, to dedicate to love, but to turn it towards ourselves. Because I think that, in kind of our cultural upbringing, religiously or socially, there's a little bit of this perception that it's noble to love others, but it's somehow selfish or sinful or wrong to love ourselves, to even put ourselves first. It's almost something, especially for mothers, for parents, to put themselves first. It's like a no no. You're not supposed to put yourself first. So I really wanted to talk about self love, turning your love towards yourself. And why is this important? And I think the very first thing that came to mind when I was thinking about why is self love important is that the degree to which your life smiles back at you is a measure of your self love, of your capacity to love yourself, of your capacity to receive wonderful things, to ask for them, even, to the capacity to care for your body, to strive for the wonderful things in life. And so as your life brings that towards you, it's a measure of your self-love, of your ability to be in that space of wonder and love in your life and for your life. And so, kind of trying to connect with this idea of how do we know how much we love ourselves, or what does that even look like? And so you can ask yourself, especially if you're a parent, but you can do this with any of the people you love in your life. And you think about everything that you wish for them, all the happiness, the joy, the success that you wish for them. It's really easy for parents. So you think about everything, all the goodness that you wish for your kids. Do you wish the same for yourself? And in most cases, what we find is that we wish for our loved ones a whole lot more than we wish for ourselves. And sometimes we even think like, oh no, no, I'm more humble than that, or I want it for them, I don't care for me. Why? Why would it not be good and loving to want for yourself all of the goodness that you want for your kids, for your loved ones? We think of it as selfish. We see people out there who are egotistical and really, really selfish, and we think, no, 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 I don't want to be like that. I want to be selfless. But why is it more noble? Or do we think, why is it that we think that it's more noble to not want for ourselves all of the goodness, all of the love, all of the happiness, all of the health, all of the joy that we want for our loved ones? And so that starts to show us the degree to which the denial of ourselves is present in our life. And that denial of ourselves is a lack of self love, a lack of love for ourselves. That idea that we would put others before ourselves. And so, my invitation is to look at, well, how can you be on equal footing? It's not to take away from them, but how can you love yourself as much? You don't have a limited love pie if you have if you have multiple children, and for all the people that you have in your life. Your love for one doesn't take away anything from your love for another. So your love for yourself is not ever going to take away love for anyone else. So how about considering putting yourself on equal footing with your love for everyone you love in your life? And another way in which I like to think about this that helps me connect with this idea of self love is to think about God, the divine, universal love, whatever way you conceive of this kind of infinite wisdom, infinite love, source of all life, source of all consciousness, right? That gives life to each and every single one of us, that sees and holds each and every single one of us as his or her children. And so, as children of the divine, we connect with that and you explore how does that divine being, God, love, universal wisdom see me? How does that universal love hold you? What does that infinite compassion want for you? And does it stop to look at all of your little human foibles and mistakes and missteps here and there? It doesn't. Just as you, as a parent of maybe a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old, you look at them and you don't love them any less because they broke your favorite vase, right? So when we tune into that infinitely wiser, infinitely more loving divine source, and we try to take on that perspective to look at ourselves, we start to open to this possibility of, oh, maybe I can hold myself in that same quality of love. And the beauty of it is that when you do this exercise, you can also obviously apply it to everyone in your life. It opens you up to a far more vast compassion, love, presence for yourself and for everyone in your life. And so I wanted to kind of sit with this for a little bit and think about, well, then how does that translate into life? How do I express this love for myself? If you start to tune into, okay, I put myself on equal footing with all my loved ones, right? Or I take on this perspective of how does the divine see me and hold me and love me? How do we express that? So a few ways, a couple 2 or 3 ways in which I can share with you how to express that self-love. The number one is compassion. So when you think about, again, this divine love looking at you, there are all of these little things that we can do as humans. Um, we can hold ourselves with greater compassion. Sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, I'm my worst critic. I'm so hard on myself." And we hear this. There's this kind of collective or a social idea that this is kind of a noble quality to have. To be hard on yourself is a good thing. Oh, yeah, I'm so hard on myself, and we're proud of it. Why? How about being compassionate instead? I mean, you absolutely have to own your mistakes. You have to own your missteps. You have to own the consequences of the things that you do. But it's one thing to be hard on yourself and punish yourself. I mean, this is like, self flagellation. And it's quite another to just own them and say, okay, so what am I going to do about that? And how can I forgive myself, even? Right? So, compassion is the number one way in which we can start practicing self love. Another one is caring for our bodies and caring for our emotional well being, is another fundamental way to love ourselves. To feed ourselves wonderful, nourishing foods, to move, to meditate, to connect with our loved ones, and to do all of these things, and not from a place, especially the food and the movement and the meditation, especially doing those things from a place of self love and nurturing and well being and just wanting to love ourselves up, as opposed to doing them from a place of punishing the body and deprivation and, being hard on your body. So, practicing self care through all of the wonderful ways in which I'm sure you already know. And then another essential way is being present to your emotions, noticing your emotional needs, and noticing your emotional states. Because when you're present to your emotions, you can access a better way for meeting your emotional needs, as opposed to escaping your emotions through alcohol, overeating, over shopping, like all of these escape mechanisms that so many of us, that we all use from time to time to deal with our stress, our anxiety, our sadness, our grief, whatever it may be. But if instead we turn presence towards ourselves, then we can start to meet our emotional needs in a far better way. And by being present with our emotions, it's like being our own best friend, like putting our arm over our shoulders and saying, hey, what's going on? What are you feeling? What do you most need? And so asking yourself, what do I most need? And also importantly, being present to your emotions is not about wallowing in your emotions, succumbing to the anxiety or wallowing in despair. It's not about that. Again, it's about being your best friend, your own best friend, and saying, okay, what's really true here? What do we really need? And then taking action on that, feeling the emotion as appropriate and taking action. So, a few things to share with you on that. And I guess I want to leave you with an invitation to explore, what do you want to do for yourself this weekend? How do you want to express your self love? Is it through food, through meditation, through movement, through journaling, through calling a friend, whatever it may be? Just bring a little bit of Valentine's Day love to your own heart. And a lot of love from me to you. If you find this helpful, please subscribe, share with your friends, share it with a loved one, or leave a comment. That's how you can help me spread the love and hopefully reach those who most need this. So thank you. I hope to see you soon.